2024 has been an incredible year for Baldur's Gate 3 mods, and I'll be covering the top 20 mods in Baldur's Gate 3's mod manager for 2020. So just a recap of the year, we've gotten some incredible things here, and I'll be showcasing all of those in this video. And to start things off, I didn't order these from best to worst or things like that. All 20 of these mods are fantastic and truly change the way that you play Baldur's Gate 3. The number one mod I want to talk about first is the Mistress Spells mod. This adds 132 new spells to the game based on 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons. What's nice about this is it gives us access to Toll the Dead before patch 8 comes out, but also many other very popular spells. So what this looks like as we go through our levels, we get added a ton of new spells. So here for the wizard, if you look, you can see some of the basic spells that we normally get, but as we look through, we can see some many more mods here, or more spells like the Enemies Abound or Catnap, which will give you the benefits of a short rest. Ashalardan Stride, which does fire damage and runs in an area. Incite Greed can charm all enemies nearby. Thunderstep is like a boom, it's like a thunder damage version of Misty Step. Summon Shadow Spawn gives you a summon. There's so many cool spells that come with this, like summon lesser demons, summon an imp and a Quasite. So for anyone that looks to replay Baldur's Gate 3 and add in a ton of new spells, this one is awesome. It adds just so much replayability to the game. I love the spells they have in the base game, but adding even more is just great. The nice thing is about this mod, there's a bunch of different icons for all of these, like Melf's Minute Meteors. This mod was made by Random Killer here, and they did a fantastic job with this. So this is one of my favorites. It adds things like Frost Fingers, a level 1 ice spell, which I think is perfect, as well as Synologic Snowball Storm, another level 2 cold damage spell. So yeah, lots of great things in this mod, and it's a total blast. If you haven't played through it yet, I highly recommend giving this one a shot, just because of the amount of choice that you get to play with. And it adds a bunch of new cantrips as well, new spells, many new things to the game. I can't get enough of Mistress Spells. It's just an absolute blast to play with. So that is one of my favorite mods. I use it pretty much on all my builds now. And number 2, we're going with the Extra Encounters mod made by Relamod. What this does is it adds, as the name implies, extra encounters to the game. There is 11 new mini bosses and 27 new encounters, with many more being added as time goes on. What's awesome of this is you can see things like the Skeletal Dragon here in Act 2 that normally isn't there. Avatar of Lakith here, so you got so many cool fights. I love this one. I have it on all my playthroughs now. They even included a map here that shows you where some of the new mini bosses and encounters are on this map, so you can go through and hunt them all down if you want to try out a bunch of new fights. Relamod has made a bunch of mods that I think are fantastic and add a lot of playability to the game. And what's awesome, this mod was updated 4 days ago, so they are constantly adding new content to this, adding new areas. Act 3 is still a bit of work in progress, so we're going to see many more fights, but this is huge. It's now available on Mac and console, so if you're playing on console, give this one a shot. In addition, they've also created the More Enemies mod here, which adds, as you can expect, more enemies to the base game fight. So in addition, there's also Tactician Enhance will increase the difficulty of the fights. This just adds more things to fight. So in the Goblin Camp, there's typically just this one ogre here. Now there's 2 of them. They're working to add more fights or more enemies to a lot of the different fights in the game. Like you can see here on the Nautiloid, a bunch more imps. And again, more imps on the Nautiloid, different areas having a ton of new enemies, and just added to fights that we already have in the game. They're working on their way up to Act 3 right now, so they've added some to Rivington in the Astral Plane, but nothing in Lower City just yet. But as you can see, there's a lot of cool things that can get added here. And if you're looking, again, to add some more challenge to the game, if you're using an increased party size mod, this is perfect for that. But also, another one that I think, Relamod has got 3 of my favorites. These are just total overhauls to the way the game plays, and that's what makes them great. So this is the Enemies Rework. I haven't talked about this one much because it just got launched on Christmas Eve, December 24th. So last updated 1 day ago as well. The Enemies Rework, what does this do? Well, it adds a bunch of different passive buffs to enemies. It adds a bunch of new actions for them to take. So here, the Crusher, he gets improved critical hit, gets the defense perk, gets the tough passive feature. As well, they get new spells, actions, and different passive buffs. Harder fights with more unpredictable outcomes. Most factions will have its own unique buffs, and no change to enemies' health points, armor class, or base stats. You can do that with plenty of our mods already. So this is cool. It gives them different options, like if they're doing a normal bow attack, maybe they'll apply Hunter's Mark and then attack, or maybe they'll do a fire arrow instead. And then they also get different faction buffs. So like the Absolute gets the Absolute's presence. This creature is blessed by the Absolute, giving it mental debilitation and mental interference. Whenever they deal psychic damage, you also inflict mental fatigue for 2 turns. Whenever they succeed a saving throw, they apply mental fatigue to the foe. So this adds a bunch of new things to the game, making it harder in specific ways that just, it's fun. If you're on multiple playthroughs, I highly recommend all 3 of these mods because more enemies in your base game fights, awesome. New encounters entirely, keeps it surprising. And this makes every single combat encounter so much different because they all have different buffs. They'll use different actions, and this mod will get updated as time goes on. Rela Mod has done so much modding, and they are really awesome. Like, they added 60 new wild magic spells as well, XP rebalance, wild magic druid subclass, the alchemist class, which I've covered previously in a video. I also want to mention I'm not covering classes in this video. I'll be doing classes tomorrow. I've been picking through my favorite classes, but for right now, this one is non-classes, just so that I don't make this video multiple hours long. Another mod that I think is fantastic by Gabe Kamom Escrow is the treasure goblins. If you've played other games with treasure goblins, you'll know why they're so much fun. Basically, it's just little goblins that pop up, and you got to fight them to get yourself some very, very nice loot. Bunch of different scrolls, different weapons, health potions, gold, etc. I think this is just awesome. The more different loot mods, I think the better. And this one just gives us a new challenge. So the treasure goblins, you got to hunt them down, beat them up, get the items. So this is obviously a mod that adds a bunch of extra effects to it, but it's not like some of the other mods that add the items to your inventory or to your tutorial chest. You actually have to work for these, which I think works much better. This mod was last updated 7 days ago, so you're going to see much more updates to this mod as time goes on, and I think that that's just great. Also, another mod in the same vein is the random spawn generator with optional difficulty boost mod made by Gabe Kamom Escrow again. So with this mod, it basically adds a bunch of different fights to the base game that you can control where they go. So you get an item in your inventory whenever you go into the inventory. I've shown this off in a few other videos, but basically what it does is you drop down this like orb thing, and it's just going to continually spawn enemies in until you take out the orb. So you can give yourself some extra experience this way, or you can kind of create your own Trials of Tav roguelike mod. Obviously it's very like you manually have to do it opposed to the Trials of Tav, but it's a similar concept because the Trials of Tav actually uses these and spawns in a bunch of random enemies. This does it as well. So you do have to get their Gabe's Auto Depositor mod. It'll give you a bag that has this item in it, and you drop the item, use the item, and you'll spawn something in, and you can fight them anywhere. You can do it in the city of Baldur's Gate 3. You can do it wherever you please, and it's awesome. So you have to take out the Shadow Quake there to be able to stop the enemies from attacking. I think this works really well, though. You can even make it so it randomly will spawn enemies in at random times too. So if you don't want to have to manually set it down, you can make it spawn whenever. You may not even know that it'll be spawning enemies in, and it'll just surprise you. So I love this mod. It's a lot of fun. Now we got ourselves some item mods, the treasure trove weapons and armors. You can see there's a bunch of them here, and what this looks like in terms of items. So we have a bunch of items. When you go in, you got 236 different pieces of armor, and then 86 different weapons. So some of them are exalted in rarity. You can like, there's 3 different levels of rarity. There's the weaker versions, and they scale up. So one will have X benefit, the Infernal Servants gauntlets here, and then the more powerful version will get increases here. This gives you increased 2 charisma and constitution. This adds temporary health equal to your charisma modifier, things like that. And then the exalted version adds even further benefits, so you can really try these all out. Like you can see there, it has all the same benefits as the previous one, increases the constitution by 4, gives you a bunch of different spells and a bunch of cool actions. So these are quite overpowered. Like some of them are very strong. Like this one adds cold punch, fire punch, lightning punch, thunder punch, poison punch, force punch. A lot of cool effects. So they're cool for replaying, especially if you're using some of the difficulty mods I just showed off. This works very, very well. And you also get some different camp clothing mods, which are pretty sweet to just have in addition to that. So you can go ahead and apply these cool dresses or whatever. But yeah, lots of great armor and lots of great weapons too. 86 different weapons. You got some cool things like even just the loots with a bunch of effects on them with Otto's Irresistible Dance, different rings. They can give you like lightning effects. Lesser Shield of Agathis, Ring of Blaze, giving you Fire Breath, Fire Shield, and many, many others. I love this mod just for the freedom of choice that you get with all these new weapons. Some of them aren't very overpowered, and I think that that's nice because you can go through and play this game completely new with all the new weapons. This is by far the most in-depth mod we've gotten for just general weapons, But there's some other really nice ones. I guess I'm giving you guys more than 20 mods here because I will show off another one here. But yeah, Horizon VP made this fantastic mod, the Treasure Trove. Love it. We'll get to the other weapon mods in a moment, but I just want to highlight the Fear Tailor's Camp Clothing mod. You can see all these fantastic outfits. You've seen these probably in mods before, but it's now available on console and PC just through the in-game mod manager made by Fear Tailor, as the name implies. It's their Camp Clothing mod. And it adds a bunch of new ones. Not all outfits work for all body types, so just a heads up on that. But you can see, it gives you so many cool options. They are all most of them are dyeable. I think like 99% of them are dyeable, but you got like the Death Mage robes, the Ballis Cultist outfits. You can get Orin's outfit. These are all camp clothing, so you can actually wear these wherever you want. You just have to switch the toggle. So if you're playing, you just got to switch this toggle here, which I just showed off, and make sure camp clothing your main clothing appearance. So that's really nice. These three are not dyeable here. So like the Dryad outfit and Mizora's outfit are not dyeable, but I've seen dyeable versions of that before. So we will likely get more of these as time goes on. This mod was actually updated 8 days ago, so they are working hard to provide updates on these. You even get like the Shar outfit here. I know a lot of people really like that one. Yeah, really great mod. You got some different armor pieces like the Dream Guardian armor, some of the nobility armor here too. So yeah, love the Fear Tailor's Camp Clothing mod. It just adds so much going on. Yeah, read the description for the mod if you have any issues. Next is another mod that adds a lot to the game. This mod was just updated 11 days ago to fix the Druid Wild Shape issue. I'm still getting people asking about that. It's been updated, so go update your mod if you're having issues with your Druid Wild Shapes not appearing. Dustbag reached out to me and let me know that this mod was updated. Thank you for updating it. And yeah, this is an awesome mod because it gives you the levels all the way up to 20. And I've been doing a lot of level 20 builds because there is 1 million downloads on this, 1.3 million. It's fantastic. So many new things can be done with level 20 because level 12, not that it's restrictive, but it's nice to multi-class and take like full levels in one class and add in some others. This just adds so much fun to the game. I absolutely love this, and I think it's pretty essential at a certain point if you want to get the most out of like modding, because there's a lot of difficulty mods you can add, and the scaling from like 6 to 12 is not the same from 12 to 20. Like 6 to 12 is a huge power spike. 12 to 20 is not really that much more of a power spike. Yes, you'll get some higher level spells, but you don't become extremely busted OP, especially on some builds. You don't even actually get that strong, I would say. I love this though. Unlock level curve, highly recommend it. Next, we got ourselves the adjustable party limit mod, and this one is pretty obvious why it's so good. So whenever we go to play, we can just go and add anyone that we want to our team. So we got Glowing Eyes Jahara here.
As you wish.
Please join me, Jahara. Now we got ourselves 5 people in our party. Woo woo. So whenever you go out and explore the rampant streets of Baldur's Gate 3, you can literally have as many as you want, up to 16 actually, in your party, and this works great with all the difficulty mods. So look, the gang's all here. We can go around. We got the whole squad with us. I love this mod just because it's fun to be able to play with multiple characters and develop their stories. Like getting all of the origin characters and being able to get all their banter. They'll banter with each other, which is awesome. And they actually in patch 7 made it so that the characters will banter amongst each other even more commonly. So that's awesome because now you got more characters alongside you at all times, and they're just gonna yap. So I love this mod. This mod was made by Pixel Bytes. They did a fantastic job, and to balance this mod out, they also created the Tactician Enhanced mod. So what this mod goes to accomplish is allowing you to scale up the difficulty of any mod. I've done actually a video in full detail on this. It was 8 minutes long. I'm not going to drag this video out too long, but what's nice about this is you can have a static or a scaling mode to scale up the difficulty. So with the scaling mode will make it so that every time you add like party members, you can make the difficulty increase. So like every party member, you can make it so that enemies get 10, 20, 30% more health. And at certain guidelines or at certain points, like if you have 8 party members, they'll get an extra action or an extra bonus action. You have full control over this. Where it becomes really challenging is when the enemies get 2 actions. Obviously that means that some fighters can do 6 attacks. That becomes very strong, but the reason for that is because if you're using like 16 party members, you're going to storm your way through the game. So if you're using that previous mod, the increased party size mod, highly recommend using this one. Static mode is nice too, so you can just literally just make everyone have a flat out 80% increase to their health, get an additional action and 2 additional bonus actions. So you can just do this, set it, forget it, let it play. The scaling changes depending on how many party members that you currently have. And this mod was updated 30 days ago. They're going to be adding more changes to it. The last mod had 1.3 million. This one only has 100 million or 100,000. So I think that more people should download this. And it also works with other mods like the random spawn generator mod. So you can make Trials of Tav at home, kind of, on console, kind of. Again, asterisk, little star. But it's really fun. I think this mod just makes it so much more enjoyable to do multiple playthroughs, so you're not just going through and steamrolling everything. Because the combat on this game is really fun, and I think that that's really useful. So if you're planning another playthrough, I would highly recommend Tactician Enhanced. I think more people should download this mod. Next, we got ourselves the Origin Mirror Unlock mod. Now, I had to uninstall this mod. It was causing me some issues. I was actually very surprised that this got added to consoles, but it's been one of the most downloaded. It has 300,000 downloads. This mod was made by Yoon Moon Sick. They've also made a bunch of other mods for Baldur's Gate 3 that have been a whole lot of fun, so I'm going to check out some of their other work. But as far as the Origin Mirror mod works, you can see kind of its effects. You can literally make your characters look how you want. So if you want Gale to get really depressed after Mistra, you can make it happen. You can also create a bunch of changes. Now, there are some overrides that won't work. So if you have Shadowheart with the white hair here, this is an override. So it'll always override her appearance to give her this haircut and this color. So if you go into the mod and change her appearance, it actually won't change her appearance, unfortunately. So that is something to keep in mind. Same thing with Will. Now, there is a workaround that fixes it. If you got any mods that changes Shadowheart back to her original appearance, it'll fix that. Same with Will. If you got the mod that removes his devil horns, it'll make it so that he looks normal again, and then you can make his outfits or his appearance changed. But lovely mod, just adds so much to the game. Highly recommend this if you want, but also be warned, it can cause issues. For me, my game crashes if I try to change Astarion or Karlach, because I guess the game thinks that they're perfect and they cannot be changed. Next, we got ourselves the Vampire Origin. Lord President has made 3. This is kind of another group bundle. This was last updated 10 days ago. What this mod does is it makes it so you can choose a new origin when you play through as the Vampire Origin. And it's also got a non-Dark Urge or a Dark Urge version, but I highly recommend the Dark Urge. With this, you get all of these benefits like a Vampiric Bite. You get a Vampire Claw, Gaseous Form, Bat Form, Dark Vision, Necrotic Resistance, Radiant Vulnerability, Fire Vulnerability, Sleep and Charm Immunity, Musical Instrument Proficiency, Restore Humanity so you can remove your vampireness, Power in the Shadows, giving yourself advantage on attack rolls whenever you're in the darkness, and many other effects. They've done a great job with this. Lord President has also made the Werewolf Origin mod. I'm hoping this comes to console sometime soon. Then there's a new Vampire Origin mod that comes with even better effects here, so I would recommend trying this one out if you're going for a Vampire Origin mod. The Vampire Origin New is their newest mod. Lord President is on my channel, so a big shouts out to them. They've done a lot of great things. They also subscribe to my channel membership, so just thank you for that. I really appreciate that support. They also have a bunch of other ones like Werewolf Shadowheart, Polymath Class, Werewolf Will, Nameless One, Dark, and you can make any of the characters the Dark Urge. So if you wanted to play a Astarion Origin run, but make it also the Dark Urge, you can do that. This is really cool. So they've done a bunch of really fun new mods. They got the Hulk Rage Monster Origin. Yeah, the Lord President has done a lot of great stuff here in Baldur's Gate 3. Just got to shout them out for their hard work. Next, we got ourselves Embers Loot. Now, what's awesome about this is it gives us a few different items that we can actually use in game, and they got cool effects. So you can use these instruments. You get the scroll of summon instruments. This is just one of them here, and I'll just pop this on. Now it gives you a bunch of effects. Like you can share your musical gifts to your team. So we can go here and apply this to everybody. So they now get musical spirit honorary, and then we can perform with sprites. So if we want to perform with like the tragic bard here, so we'll play music and it'll make a ghostly appearance appear. This is one of the other mods by Airy Fell. So with this, they also have Embers Loot, the haunted instruments, and the regular one. I love this mod because you can play any Volo. It gives you a bunch of different songs you can play. You can play with the Vicious Rockery, which is a group of gnomes that will play alongside you. You got a few different songs like The Power, which is the ending song. You can have these ghosts play with you, and then you have your whole squad around singing. So like Jahara there is singing or whistling. Yeah, they're all whistling along. It's so silly. But yeah, this is a mod that's more so for the fun of Baldur's Gate 3. It's just meant to be goofy. I wouldn't say that it's like a necessity to play, but if you're playing with friends, sometimes it's just fun to get to Baldur's Gate 3. And even if you're doing like an all bard run, I actually was talking about that on stream with some people today about all bard runs. It's pretty silly, but it's a fun mod, and you can have Alfira come back temporarily if you're the Dark Urge and have unfortunately taken her out. But I just want to highlight this one because it's a whole lot of fun. Arifel made a lot of great mods. Embers Loot is their other one. This is, I guess, the one that I should have recommended, but the Haunted Instruments was just so cool. And yeah, you can play with a Vicious Rockery. I love this mod. Next, we got ourselves Fade Equipment Distribution mod. So what Fade's Equipment Distribution mod does is made by Graphic Fade. It adds the ability to add in their other mods. And what happens with this is it inserts their items into different locations in the game. So when you have this downloaded, you can go through, play, and get their new items. Now, what kind of items do they have, you may ask? Well, I'm glad you asked. They have things like the Grove and Growl Druid equipment, which gives you some very specific to the Druid items. I love this because the base game doesn't have enough items for the Druids, and there's Act 1, 2, and 3 mods here. You can also add these all to your inventory just if you want, instead of having to find them in the real game, but I highly recommend just finding them in the game. There's also Ranger equipment, Monk equipment, the Bard equipment, and the Warlock and Cleric. There's also Absolute themed items, so like the Absolute items in game suck. This actually makes it so that if you get the Absolute branding, you get some actually useful items this time around. So I love this. Graphic Fade did a great job with all their mods. And currently the Druid one's on console, but I think that the others will make their way over shortly. Next, we got ourselves the Poke Flask. I had to unfortunately uninstall this one, or else I would happily show it off. But basically, I've shown it off in previous videos. It did cause me issues with my saves. I was having some issues with other mods too. Not sure 100% if this was it, but made by Jim Slim here. This basically lets you capture any creature you see. So you get a Poke Flask. If you see someone, you can throw it at them, and then you capture them, and then you throw it again, and they become a sidekick. You can actually make them a permanent party member too, making anyone a possible ally. So you can see here, unusual allies, Malice Storm. They get all their effects. So any of the skills that they normally would have, whenever you use the Poke Flask, they're skills that you can use as them. So you can make it so that they're legitimately like a party member. You'll see it at the side here. So like right beside Jahara, you would have whoever you turned into your party member. Or you can have it like this, so that it's just like a summon. So you can have it as a summon, and you can promote them to party member. There's so much to love with this mod. I want to download it again. I probably will. 9 days ago it was updated, so it probably has an update since then. Fantastic mod. Next, we got the Corina the Squirrel summon mod. So this is a great one because it gives you a little summon of Corina the Squirrel. This is what I just really like this mod. Some people may not love it, but what it does is it gives you a ring that lets you summon in Corina. It's a really useful summon, and it's a nice summon for those that want to have like a ranger's pet but don't want to play a ranger. And also with this, it gives you a bunch of different resources and different spells. Corina the Squirrel is an awesome mod. I love this one. I think it's one of the most underrated mods on here. Made by Maestro Medi. It's their only mod, and it only has 36,000 downloads and available on console. Go download this mod. It's fantastic. The ring is awesome. You get yourselves the ability to summon in. I unfortunately had to uninstall it at the moment because I was having issues with one of my save files. But with this mod, yeah, you can summon in Corina the Squirrel. Next, we got ourselves Alfira joins the party. I know a lot of people love this mod. Alfira is extremely popular. They probably should have made her a companion with how much people love her, but they made Halston a party member, and he wasn't originally supposed to be one, so they obviously had a lot of things to prepare. But this basically just makes her a party member. Obviously, with mods like this, there can be issues that pop up, but it says it's been tested all the way through the Game Act 3 epilogue, and this works. It remains a work in progress, however, so just be mindful of that. You can also, if you're playing the Dark Urge, there's a workaround now that allows you to get Alfira to join your team, so you can also do that alternatively. But yeah, this is a fun one, especially for those that love Alfira the Bard. She doesn't have much dialogue, obviously, because it's hard to add those kind of things to the game. But you can see here, lots of cool stuff. So Alfira the Bard, now a party member. Now, we got ourselves some race mods, which I'll be showing off because they are really fun. So the first one that I want to show off is the D&D Expanded mod. I guess I'll show all three of them. We got D&D Expanded, the playable Aasimar race, and this kind of extends to Rosprey's other mods. So they have like the Greater Undead, which gives us the ability to play as like a Mummy Lord, Lich, Death Knight, or Revenant, and many others. They got so many different race mods. And then also Thunder's extra races. So these three are what I believe to be the top 3 race mods. Well, I guess in addition to that, there's also like all the Rosprey's mods too. So the beautiful thing about these mods is they actually add, some of them add icons for the classes. So we got like the Aasimar here, which I know a lot of people really want. There's a few different body types too, so you can give yourself the Dame Aelin appearance if you want to. And I know a lot of people really want that, so it's really cool you see this in here. Also got like the Archdevil mod, Archfey, the Diva, the Half Giant. And this comes with a bunch of different subraces like Storm Giant or the Hill Giant or Fire Giant, Stone Giant, and Frost Giant. There's a lot of giants here. And then we also have the Goblin. I'm not going to click it because sometimes there's issues with it. The Goliath mod, Kender, Tallfellow Halfling, Genesi, Yuan-Ti, Cyrene, which you probably have seen these in game if you've been to Act 3, as they're pretty out there in terms of what they can do. They all get different benefits too. There's a Cambion mod too, so you can play as a Cambion. You can even make yourself look like certain characters from the game. I really like the Greater Undead though. This one is made by Rosprey, and they've done a lot with this one. So you can play as a Death Knight, a Lich here, which is an actual skeleton, although it has to have the hood on. You can play as a mummy as well, and it actually wears the clothing, which I think is pretty funny. And a Revenant, which is like a zombie-ish person. So Greater Undead, fantastic. I love this one. There's also the Owlin mod. I guess give a shout out to the Owlin mod. I love this mod because you can turn yourself into a literal owl, owl bear person. And then we got other things like the Harpy, Goblin, Warforged, Changelings. We've seen some of these in the game. Sahagin, the Aasimar, Myconids. This is from Thunder's Race mod. The Kobold, which is one of the most requested mods for console, and it's all here. Also, just a little side note, if you're watching from console, these mods will be hopefully coming in the new year as they work to fix a bug that is with race mods on console. Right now, they only have the Kuatoa. You can play as a Genie. There's a few other Genie mods. You can play as a Minotaur, a Dryad. There's even a mod to play as a Mind Flayer. This is the Eulitharid mod, which is a little bit different than these mods here, but just want to showcase these. There's even a Rat mod if you want to play through the game as a rat. Pretty funky. And Yuan-Ti. So yeah, there's a lot of great race mods here, and hopefully will be coming to console soon. But my favorites being D&D Expanded, any of Rosprey's with the Greater Undead being my favorite, and Thunder's extra races. So those were the top 20 of the new mods in Baldur's Gate 3 that have dropped this year. We'll hopefully be seeing more as 2025 rolls in, and I think there's a lot of great things coming for us Baldur's Gate 3 fans. So let me know your favorite mod in the comments. Hit the subscribe button below if you haven't already, and I'll see you all in the next one.